Welcome to Holistic Horseworks Talks. Join us with founder April Love as we talk about equine care. Learn what you can do to keep your horse happy, healthy, rideable, and sound through their 30s. Have a question you'd like to submit to the podcast? Just email April at HolisticHorseWorks.com for a chance to get it featured on the next episode.
Hi, this is Lillian. I'm here with April Love. I have a question about a friend has a horse that won't pick up the 1 foot. He'll pick up 3 feet fine, but the 1 foot he just will not pick up. Is this a training issue? Is it something else?
So what I've noticed is, and you have to kind of look at the feet that they do have. If they're sore, laminitic, if you took shoes off, a lot of times they just don't want to put all their weight on the other hoof. I've had people tying a foot up, putting a rope around it, pulling it, and I'm just going, oh my God, I can't watch. You need to find out why the horse's body is uncomfortable shifting to give you that leg. Is there pain in the other front hoof? So if they don't want to pick up the right front, instead of fighting with them, you need to find out why they don't want to put weight on the left front. If we think they're a little bit laminitic or stone bruised or hoof sore, a good thing to do is to point your horse uphill so that more weight is on the hind. The other thing you can do is get a piece of carpet or something that's soft to stand on, or a piece of rubber mat that's squishy, and walk them up to it, have the other foot on that, and see if they will then pick it up. You need to rule out the knee, the fetlock, the shoulder, pain in the hoof. But it's not so much of why won't they give me this one, it's why don't they want to shift more weight to the other one. So in the front, it's usually gravel, white line, pain in the frog. My hoof soaks are amazing for that. I highly recommend the UC Davis soaker boots. And the first day your horse is like, what are you doing? And the second day they're like, yes, please. And they stand there for an hour and they love it. So the recipe is 32 ounces warm water and a whole cup of Epsom salt. You just need the warm water to dissolve that. And 2 full dropperfuls of Dynamite Liquid Trace Minerals. If you only pull up half a dropperful, you have to do double, so you have to do 4. And that's just for 32 ounces of water, which is like your smoothie juice shaker cup. So if you need more water, obviously you're going to need more product. And for some reason, that recipe, it tightens the white line, it pulls bacterial and fungal out of the frog, it toughens the sole, and it pulls that hoof wall together so that you start to get that concavity that you need. But it also, the Epsom salt pulls out bruising, gravel, abscesses. It's amazing. You do it 3 days in a row and see if the horse still doesn't want to pick up that one hoof. But again, like I said, if you shift the weight to the rear hooves more by having a little bit front end or something padded under that other hoof, you should see that they're willing to give you that hoof now. On the hind end, I've noticed it's usually sore SI joint. They're like, yeah, you can pick up one, but not the other. Or, if you go to clean the hoof and you're pulling the leg out, they're shaking their leg. And a lot of people think that they're trying to kick at you when they're just saying, let go. And there's a lot of horses out there with sore SI joint. I have a video on how to test for a sore SI joint on my YouTube channel, Holistic Horseworks. You can send me pictures. I do distance readings on horses. It gives you a 7-page report, like a medical intuitive, where's pain in the body, what bones are not in alignment, bacterial, viral, all of those things. And sore SI joint, we actually work on that with 4 scoops of MSM in their feed and 3,500 milligrams of either hiscorbidine or ester C really feeds the joint. And we have some cranial handholds that we do, and you can use red light therapy to get blood and oxygen deep down under the croup to the SI joint, which is really deep. And these horses, They don't like having a hind foot picked up and pulled out, which we have learned to do for our backs. So you pick the horse's leg up higher or out farther behind. If you have a horse that is just not happy in the hind end picking up a leg, I show people just put your hand down the leg and just pick it up where it hangs under the hoof. Don't bring it out. Just kind of leave it there on the toe. And then slowly, with it low against the ground, bring it behind the other hind leg, like you're almost crossing the hind leg. And you can put it on a little stand back there. And then they can stand there carefully. What they can't do is pick up that hind leg and bring it out, because it's re-injuring the sacroiliac joint deep in the hind end. So I've had a lot of farriers say, okay, I just can't do this hoof. The horse is sedated. He still won't let me do it because he's in so much pain, even though you got a shot from the vet and the horse's head is hanging. I've seen farriers 2 hours later still trying to get a shoe on that hind foot. And I said, can I just show you something? And they're like, yeah. And I said, I know it's harder on your back, but just, leave it on its toe, right under the hip. Bring it a little back, cross behind, and then put it on a stand there. And they're like, oh my God, that worked. And they're like, now what do we do? I said, same thing. You have to bring it in close to the other fetlock and bring it forward up under the belly, a little harder on the farrier's back, and put it on a stand there. The SI joint, the horse's hind end is happy, and he can stand there for you. And you can get that shoe on in 2 minutes and get the nails clinched down and filed. Where this horse had been sedated, he had a stud chain on him. 2 hours later, they were still trying to do it. It was a very sweet, well-trained reining horse with a very sore SI joint. So especially the taller farriers, they're trying to save their lower back, and, they have to start going to yoga classes and, rebalance their back. But this is a really good saver if you have a horse that's just, that hind leg is just not happy. You need to cross it behind and email me, and we can talk about how to work on healing that sore SI joint. How does it get sore? So anytime a horse does the splits in the hind end sideways, their pelvis is not meant to go sideways. They can go forward and back, but not sideways. So anytime with shoes, slipping on asphalt, slipping in the wash rack, in the horse trailer with all the poo and the pee, I was riding my endurance horse down the side of the road, the blacktop road, on the gravel edge, and 2 dogs, kind of like those Aussie healers, came out and attacked my horse while I was on him, trying to bite his hamstrings and swinging around. And he just did the whole splits in the hind end, and it took me 2 months to help him heal that. So anytime you see the hind legs go out sideways like that, reining horses get sore SI joints because as a 2-year-old, they're learning those sliding stops. So email me if you have issues with your horse's hind end, April@HolisticHorseWorks.com. And on my YouTube channel, Holistic Horseworks, you'll find something about how to tell if your horse has a sore SI joint. So that's what we need to do when a horse doesn't want to pick up a hoof. This isn't the first time you're trying to train a horse. This is when you just notice that there's, one they're more resistant to than the other ones. You need to see why they don't want to load the other ones. So we'll see you at HolisticHorseWorks.com.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Holistic Horseworks Talks with April Love. Remember to check the show notes for links to all the resources mentioned in this episode. Have a question you'd like to submit to the podcast? Email April@HolisticHorseWorks.com for a chance to get it featured on the next episode. Loved this information? Share it with your horse friends. They'll find it helpful too. To learn more, visit HolisticHorseWorks.com. And before you go, make sure you have a copy of our free ebook, Horse 101, Everything You Wish You Had Known Before You Got Your First Horse, at HorseAcademy101.com.